This video caught on a neighbor's doorbell camera captures the moment the Perkins family says police fatally shot 39-year-old Steve Perkins.
Police, go back!
The warning appearing to come immediately before police open fire, killing the husband and father.
There's one male down. I got to need an ambulance ASAP.
Authorities have yet to verify the video shared by the family's attorney to NBC News. The deadly confrontation around 2 a.m. September 29th stemmed from a tow truck driver trying to repossess Perkins' truck. Police say the driver arrived earlier but left when Perkins flashed a gun, then came back hours later, accompanied by Decatur police.
They started firing before they even got the full first command out of their mouth.
The department states Perkins brandished the weapon towards an officer, causing the officer to fire. Perkins' older brother Nicholas in heartbroken disbelief.
When you watch that video, what do you see?
I see a murder. Cold-blooded murder.
Questions over Perkins' death prompted week-long protests and calls for transparency after his family's attorney says Perkins had no idea it was police in his front yard.
It doesn't matter whether he had a weapon or not. He never was given an opportunity to comply, and if he had a weapon, he was well within his rights to carry a firearm.
The city's placed one officer on leave and has not released police body camera video from the incident. Alabama's law enforcement agency is now leading a third-party investigation.
And what hurts most is we don't have any answers. This family needs answers. This community needs answers.
I'm here to talk about Steve Perkins today, and overall, I'm here to talk about police brutality and the lack of accountability when the police are involved in these types of activities. So in Decatur, Alabama, small community, about 60,000 people, we have a murder carried out by public servants, the police of Decatur, Alabama. This is something that happens too often. This is something that happens across America, so I don't want it to seem as if I'm talking about some isolated incident, because it's not. But we're going to talk about it from two sides. First of all, we're going to talk about the man whose life was taken, Steve Perkins. He was a son lost to a mother. He was a father lost to his children. He was a sibling lost to his siblings. Uncle, friend, all those things. Cousin, just like you, me, everybody watching this. We have those. We are those. We know those. And it's just an unfortunate situation where, as usual, the police are not being compliant as they would ask us to be. They're not being forthcoming. They're not being transparent as we are used to them being. They won't release the body cam footage. All of the footage that is available to be seen is because neighbors of this man who was murdered have come forth with their video because they want the world to see that the police were not acting in as if they cared about a human life. They obviously did not. And as usual, the police are not doing what they should be doing as far as putting it all out there and holding someone accountable. They say someone is on administrative leave, which means he's being paid to sit at home. No one's been fired. No one's been charged. And again, they have not released the body cam footage. Only footage we can see is from Ring doorbell cameras of people who are concerned citizens, neighbors, friends of the person who was murdered by the Decatur police. I'm sure everybody involved, as far as his family, his friends, his community, would like answers, as anybody would in that same situation. Sad. Like this
Very
is
sad.
This is a sad situation that here in America, time and time again, these conversations are being had in communities that are small as well as communities that are large. And it needs to end. I mean, at the end of the day, something needs to be put in place where the police cannot just go above and beyond the law, because that's essentially what they do whatever they want to do. And then when they are held accountable, which is rare, it's some long drawn out process that should have been taken care of immediately. Then you'll hear, oh, well, we're doing an investigation and we're looking into, well, if you were doing an investigation on me, if I was the suspect in a murder, you know where I would have been? Charged, arrested, and then they would do their investigation. So why isn't it the same situation for the cop who murdered a man? There were 18 shots. In the video I watched, I counted 18 shots. one cop did all of that shooting, or are there others involved? We don't know. Why not? No body cam footage. We don't get any inside information from the police who are supposed to be serving the public. Where's the mayor's office in this? He came out. He said, oh, we're going to do everything to get justice, this, that, and the third. Well, part of doing everything is releasing the footage for everybody to see. Why haven't we seen the footage? Why are we counting on doorbell cameras to be everything as far as our evidence? You guys they should have all had active body cameras, every cop out there. Why are you guys hiding behind vehicles in the neighbor's yard if you're there legally performing whatever duty you call yourself performing? If you're there because this guy is going to do a repossession, why not go knock on this man's door as a police officer and say, hey, we're here for this reason, so that he doesn't come out and you have an excuse to shoot this man. Now the police are going to say, oh, he had a weapon or whatever the case may be. He's on his own property. He has the right to protect his family. He has the right to protect his property. He has the right to protect himself. So if at 2 a.m. I hear something in my yard that doesn't sound like something I should be hearing in my yard, and I come outside with a weapon to protect what's inside my house, which is everyone's right as a citizen in the United States, I haven't done anything wrong. So even if I did run out with a weapon, should I be murdered because I did that? I shouldn't be. If you're going to give a command, hey, put down your weapon, shouldn't you give me a chance to do that? Or should you say it while you're shooting just to say you said it? Because that's what it seems like to me. Like if I say something while I'm actively attacking you about not doing the thing I told you to do, I was never looking for you to do the thing. I was looking for an excuse or a cover my ass to do the thing I wanted to do anyway, which was to shoot you. This is not the first time we've seen this. We saw it happen with Tamir Rice. The cop actively jumped out of the car saying, hey, put down the weapon, as he was shooting a 12-year-old boy. This is things the cops do. It's like they're trained to say certain things to get away with whatever it is they're caught doing. Hey, put down the weapon. Hey, stop resisting. You hear stop resisting all the time in videos that we watch and see a person being compliant. Stop resisting, stop resisting. Sorry, he's literally putting his hands behind his back for you, but you're saying stop resisting so that when you're throwing him them extra elbows, pushing his face to the ground, you can say it's because he was resisting. You can hear me saying stop resisting, but we can see him not resisting. It's like the cops have this thing where there's a book or maybe there's just every time anything's going on, you say these things to cover your ass. And it shouldn't be happening. This is something that should have long been done away with. And we act like it's new. Every time it happens, we act like this is new stuff. This shit is as old as America itself, I'm sure. The minute policing came into existence, I'm sure this type of thing started happening. Obviously, no one cared back then because their whole reason to come into existence was to get freed slaves back to their owners, essentially. That's really what it comes down to. That's the whole reason we have this institute anyway. So it was always built on racism and it was always built on oppression. So it's doing what it's been doing all along. It never really changed. They changed the way it looks. They changed the way it sounds. They changed the format of it. But the thing is still the thing. And they're just carrying out on a higher level. So they're better at covering it up because they have to be. Back then, they didn't have to cover up anything. Yeah, we did the foul shit. What you going to do about it? Now it's like, oh, yeah, no, we didn't do it. You did it. But now you got to act like you didn't do it because the public is paying attention. But only small parts of the public care. The problem is the public only cares when it affects them. So if it doesn't affect you, you don't care. You can turn a blind eye. You can make excuses. You can be an apologist. But then as soon as it hits your community or it hits your home, now all of a sudden it's a big deal. It's a big deal every time. Every time there's an attack on any human being, it should be a big deal to you. Every time there's a Steve Perkins, it should be a big deal. Every time there's a Tamir Rice, it should be a big deal. Every time there's a Philando Castile, it should be a big deal. Every time there's a Sandra Bland, it should be a big deal. There are hundreds of cases where it should have been a big deal to everybody, not just to me, not just to the families, not just to the friends, to the entire country, because anytime it happens anywhere is a time that it could have happened anywhere. Like, so just because it happened in Alabama this time doesn't mean it won't be in California next time, doesn't mean it won't be in Detroit next time, doesn't mean it won't be in Chicago next time. There's always going to be a next time. And just because you've been fortunate and hasn't been your family and hasn't been your friends yet, doesn't mean the next time it won't be your family and it won't be your friends. So I think it's time for America in totality to start caring. Man, rough.
Yeah. I mean, the ridiculous nature of it is the repetitiveness. It's one thing for a thing to happen, and if you could call it an isolated incident, that's probably the best case scenario. Like, oh my God, this tragic thing happened. We would never want it to happen again, right? And then you put protocols and things into place to guarantee that it doesn't happen again. When you look at one of the most tragic or one of the most publicly recognized tragic events, we say never forget.
Don't
right?
even get me started on that shit.
So if we can clearly look at a situation where a large proportion of people can agree that a bad thing happened, we shouldn't forget that it happened, and we should do things to make sure that these bad things don't happen again. We clearly are a society and intelligent enough to recognize and address. So why are we selective with that intelligence and that ability to recognize and address?
Because people only care when it affects them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it really comes down to. At the end of the day, if I didn't have a family member or a friend of a friend in the World Trade Center, do I care the same as somebody who did? And that's what America needs to be asking itself all the time. Like, that's what you need to be asking yourself. Just because it didn't affect me personally, should I still care or not? Like, why not? It's still your country, and it can still be your child.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure Steve Perkins' mom didn't wake up that morning thinking to herself, you know what, my son may not be here tomorrow. Because who thinks like that upon waking up?
Right.
I have kids. I don't think that.
Right.
I don't wake up thinking, hey man, what if I don't have one of my kids tomorrow because some tragic event happened? No one thinks that. No one thinks that about their brother, their sister. But if we constantly see these things going on that could lead to that being your situation, why wouldn't we do something in totality again to try to stop this?
Right.
Because the police are an entity, a government entity, which means they can be affected by the people. If enough of the people care and form a united front, they can change whatever it is that's the problem in the police. That's all we have to do. Come together as a community in Decatur, in Alabama, and in the United States and say, yeah, that's enough. We're not doing this again. We're gonna put some things in place to where there has to be some consequence more so than a paid vacation or desk duty. There has to be. This is the consequence for murdering a person. I'm going to go out and I'm going to take a son away from his mother. And my only consequence will be desk duty for 2 weeks. I'm going to go take a brother away from his siblings. And my consequence will be to sit at home and receive pay for it. That's what we're going to do. How is that going to stop anything? If that's my consequence for whatever it is I did, am I likely to stop doing that thing? Why should I? I didn't lose any money and I got time off that I got paid for. Who goes to work every day that wouldn't want that situation? Like, I wish I could go to my job, fuck up, and my boss called me in the office like, hey, you know what? You fucked up. Take a week off and we're going to pay you. We'll see you in a week. I go in there and fuck up daily. I will fuck up as much as possible. I want all the vacations. I only get like 4. You're telling me I can get 52 if I just keep making mistakes? Give me 52 vacations, bro. I'm here for all the vacays, dog, especially since you're paying me for them. Where, in what world is that a consequence? Like, I'm going to pay you and give you time off because you murdered somebody? We're going to do an investigation, but he gets to sit at home eating, Pop-Tarts and, whatever it is that he likes while you do the investigation. Now they're saying, from what I saw, I watched the mayor speak. They're going to have an outside group do the investigation. It's still some Alabama legal investigative group or something of that nature, but it's not the Decatur Police Department. So I like that. I'm not going to lie, because a lot of times they just do an internal investigation, which we all know is like, like, yeah, your son did this thing. I want you to check into it and see if he actually did it. Yeah. 99% of the time is going to come back that he didn't do it. So at least they're going to let my cousin do the investigation this time. But like, maybe it's 94%, like, we're going to give it a shot. But let's just be honest.
Right.
It's the same fucking thing. Oh, yeah, we got an outside. Okay, we'll see. Because at the end of the day, anybody else any regular citizen who's charged with murder or is being investigated as a murderer, we know you did it. So that's not what the investigation is about. We just want to know if it was justified. Guess what? You're going to get booked and you're going to get charged formally. Where's the booking? Where's the charge? Where's the accountability? So to the Decatur Police Department, where's the accountability? Mayor Tab Bowling, where's the accountability? Where? Nobody's been fired. Nobody's been charged. Nobody's been arrested. Where is the accountability? This thing this didn't just happen overnight. This has been 2 weeks now, I believe, or close to 2 weeks. Where's the accountability? How long does it take to look at the camera footage? Like, how long does that take? How long did it take for us to watch that video? A couple of minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you watch all the video that should be recorded on the body cams, let's just hope it doesn't come out, oh, they didn't have their body cams on, which we all know is possible. How long does it take? If each cop was out there for 20 minutes and you had to view all 20 minutes of it, you didn't get to skip anything, you didn't get to go to a certain part where you knew shit was popping, you got to view all 20 minutes, and it was 9 cops out there. That's only 180 minutes. Do you think that would fit into a day? 180 minutes? Could you fit that into one day? Is it possible? Maybe. If you really try hard, can put 180 minutes into a day. Can you put it in a week? 180 minutes? So I don't see how you haven't been able to review the footage yet. What are we waiting on? What does this investigation entail? Is it, well, why were they there in the first place? Is that even relevant? Is it relevant? Oh, well, the tow truck driver called and said, hey, a guy is brandishing a firearm. Well, let's say that happened. Did you actually see a guy brandishing a firearm? Or as soon as a guy was present, you just decided, hey, this is the guy that was brandishing a firearm. Let's just shoot him. Let's take any chance out that he might be the guy. Because you don't actually know. It's 2:00 in the morning. It's dark. Somebody comes out of the house and you just start shooting. Because, yeah, I felt threatened. Because that's what they're going to say. Because that's what police say. That's their go-to line. We felt like our lives were in danger. Whose life was in danger in this video? Steve Perkins. Nobody else's life was in danger in that video. One person.
I'm armed, skilled, trained, and have 7 versions of me here. 9, whatever that number is. And I feel my life is in danger while I am armed, trained, skilled, certified, and I have backup multiplied by.
Yep.
And I feel in danger.
So I'm in the gang that showed up to the one person's house. I'm in the gang. There's a gang of us. I think if you're walking up the street and a gang is coming your way, it's 9 people, you're probably going to go to the other side of the street because you're the one who's in danger. I think we'd all agree to that. If you're walking through some random neighborhood and you see 9 people, they all wearing the same stuff, so you know they're a gang. They're together. They're affiliated. It's probably best that I get away from that to try to avoid whatever could happen. I'm not walking through the center of that gang. That gang is not looking at the individual and saying to themselves, boy, we better get the fuck out of here because he means business. That's not happening. How are you the one that feels like you're in danger? Because I know, I don't know this individual, the police officer, but I'm sure 1,000,000% he's going to say he felt like he was in danger because that's what they always say. He could have tripped on a rock and accidentally shot me. So I shot him first. Do we even know that this man had a weapon? The video I saw looked like he had a flashlight. I don't know how many shots you can get out of a flashlight. I think it's 0. I don't know what kind of flashlight it was. Every flashlight I've ever owned in my house, no shooting was capable from the flashlights I own. Now, I don't know if this man had one of these James Bond flashlights that Q done hooked up for him where, hey, that boy also gets some shots off. I mean, but outside of that, probably no shots coming out of that flashlight. Because that's what I saw in the videos that I watched. You could see the light because it wasn't like the flashlight wasn't on. He's like actively using the flashlight. So you could see this thing with the light on it. I think you can reasonably deduce that it's a flashlight, even in the dark. And you can reasonably deduce he would be using a flashlight. It's dark as hell. All of that makes sense to me. It stops making sense when you decide to murder this man. What did he do to deserve being murdered? What did he do that brought on capital punishment? 2 a.m., I hear something in my front yard. As a man, what is anyone expected to do? What are you expected to do in that situation? If that comes across anybody's table, hey, it's 2 a.m., I'm in the bed with my wife, my daughters are down the hall or downstairs or upstairs, whatever the constitution of my house is. 2 a.m., I'm woke up out of my sleep to a loud noise that is just not a normal noise to this household. What are you expected as a man to do? Turn over the other way and pull the blanket up a little higher so you don't hear it? Or go see what the fuck is going on? As a man, you're expected to go see what's going on. It's your job, your responsibility, your duty to protect the other people sleeping in this house because you're a man. So you're going to go see what that problem is. You have to. You have no choice. So even if you have a weapon, you should have a weapon because you need to meet this threat head on and be able to neutralize this threat. It's your job. It's literally what you're here for, my man, at 2 a.m. So for the cop apologists who are going to say, well, they didn't know what he had. He should have had something. He should have absolutely had something. Because in that situation, I would have ran out with something. Most of the people I know would have ran out with something. Because I don't know what's going to be on the other side of this door when I open it. But I need to be ready for it, whatever it is. He obviously didn't know what was on the other side of that door. Mainly because they were hidden. In the videos I see, they're off to the side in front of other people's houses. Why, if you're there for me, if you're there for my property, why aren't you near my property? Why aren't you visible to me? If this is a legal thing you're carrying out, why is there the veil? Like, why are you hidden? I don't understand why. And I know for a fact cops do this because I had a situation where they came to my house because they got a call. Oh, that we got a call that you were holding somebody against their will in your house. I opened the door. I'm talking to the 2 cops on the porch. This is my legal residence. I own this house. I don't even have to talk to y'all if I don't want to. But, I'm like, what's going on? And then I look to the left and there's literally a cop behind a tree that's in my yard, like Noob Sabat in Mortal Kombat. You feel me? Like this motherfucker just, and I'm like, I stopped my conversation. I said, is it a nigga over there behind the tree? I immediately closed my door, locked it. Y'all have a nice day. Well, we still need to know. Well, go get a warrant. Close the door. Because I have that legal right. Now, if you want to come back with a warrant and search my property, then by all means, dog. But that man right there makes me feel unsafe. That's the type of shit that the cops do. Now, what was his purpose for hiding behind that fucking tree? Like, what kind of shit was he on? Who would feel comfortable when that's going on? And y'all are protecting and serving. You're hiding behind a fucking tree. First of all, it was 6 of y'all out there. But again, I opened the door because I know I ain't got nothing going on. I'm just like, oh, what's going on? I'm thinking y'all just something else happening. And oh yeah, we heard you got shit going on. I'm like, oh, me? I'm like, no, I don't know why y'all heard that, but yeah, I'm like, is it a nigga behind that tree? And once they, oh yeah, I'm done. I'm done here. I don't have nothing else to say to y'all because y'all on bullshit and I don't feel safe. So this is a tip, apparently something y'all do. Hide behind trees and cars and all type of fuck shit. For what reason? Like, what was that going to help?
You know who else does that?
Crooks. Yeah, it's accurate. It's accurate.
So if someone knocks on my door or I hear a noise outside and it looks and sounds suspicious, Are you upset with me for responding to a questionable situation with as much protective force as I can muster within the amount of time I have to do what is required to keep my surroundings safe?
Doing your job.
Doing my job. And on the first time somebody came out and I'm like, yo, what's going on? And I hear it again. Now, maybe the first time I didn't do a perimeter search. So now I'm outside with a flashlight going, I need to see. I need to visually be a part of whatever this thing is so I can check it out for myself. Because I keep hearing sounds. I keep hearing noises. And I've done that. Where you hear something and now I'm looking out of a window first because I don't know what I heard. I got a direction. I heard a sound from. If I hear that thing again, I'm out on the front porch.
Yeah.
Right. I'm out the back door. I've done perimeter walks in my house. Like, I don't know what that sound is.
Yeah. And you're going to find out because it's your fucking job. You know why? Because inside that house that you're perimeter searching is the things you care about.
Right.
Is the things that you're supposed to be protecting. So guess what? You're going to do it. You're not going to, as a man, you're not going to say to yourself in that moment, boom, I heard some shit. What was it? You're not going to say, I sure hope it doesn't get me. And chill harder. You're not going to fall back. You're not going to go hide in a more secure room. As a man, you're going to say, damn, I don't know what that was. I'm going to go meet that thing. Because whatever it is, I need to neutralize it. If it's a threat, I need to put it down. And if it's not a threat, I need to understand it's not a threat so I can go back to sleep. Because I ain't going to be able to sleep as long as I don't know what the fuck going on out here. Because I got to protect these things. I got to protect that daughter. I got to protect that son. I got to protect that wife. I got to protect it all. I've done it. Every man has done it. Every man with a family has done this. Every man, period. Like, if I'm in the house and I'm the only one there and I hear some shit outside, I'm still going to check it out, even if there's nobody else in my house. Because it's still my house. I'm going to check to see what's going on. I have dogs. So guess what? We all roaming because they're going to find something faster than I am, but I'm coming with the backup. They ain't out there by themselves. I promise you that. If they do find something, we finding it together.
Green team, go.
You feel me? But I'm opening that. I'm going that route. I'm going to the door where, hey, let's go see what's going on out here. Putting them on alert. What is that? Because they already heard it, whatever it is. And we're going to go find it together. Period. That's our job. That's what the dogs are there for. They're there to protect the house. But that's my job. So they're just tools I'm using to protect my house, protect my family. But at the end of the day, they're my family too. So if we find the threat, I ain't gonna let it hurt you. We gonna hurt it together. Period. Like, what is a man supposed to do in that situation where the police feel like they're justified in murdering him? Like, unless that man comes right outside busting shots randomly, okay, maybe. Other than that, I don't see a situation where you can justify shooting a person at 2 a.m. who heard a loud noise in their own yard.
I would wonder what the apologists who also believe in the Second Amendment would say.
Right, because you have the right to bear arms. And I mean, they are staunch. They are quick to say, don't try to take away my guns. I got the right. But again, selective outrage. They pick and choose when they want to hold that flag, stand that ground. And that's a problem because it's political. And we know with politics comes this other thing. Race. So let's just be honest here. Most of the people who are the most staunch Second Amendment people also toe another line that doesn't necessarily ride with the person who was shot in this particular instance. So what they'll do is see it, think to themselves, I would have done the same thing, and then keep it to themselves. Because, hey, that ain't my fight. That's typically how they handle these things. Because the NRA has millions and millions and millions of backers, but they never come out for these situations. There's a reason. Period. There's a reason behind it. We all know what it is, whether we want to admit it or not. There's a reason. Fucking police. Trash as usual. So I want to talk directly to the cop apologists. Because I know you're there and I know you're listening and I know you're watching, who are going to say, well, the victim should have done this thing. The victim should have done that thing. The victim should have behaved in this way. The victim should have behaved in that way. Would you have that same train of thought if the victim was your son, husband, father, friend, cousin? Would you have that same train of thought if this happened at your home, at your loved one's home? Would you have that same train of thought if that man was running out of a house protecting your son or daughter who was spending the night at their friend's house? If you wouldn't have that same train of thought in those situations, then you shouldn't have it now. There's no selective outrage. You're either with a thing or you're against a thing. If you're okay with a man protecting his home being murdered by the police, then you're just a horrible human being. If you're not okay with it, then don't be okay just because you don't know the man.